Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for continuing to tune in. If you're new, thank you for tuning in. Today I'm going to cover propagation. I have had a bunch of Hoyas propagating for probably about a couple months. I know these are beyond ready to be potted up. They've just been in here forever. I haven't had time. I finally have time today, so we're gonna pot them up. Some of these are gonna be available for sale once they get a little bit bigger. So if you're interested, let me know. I mean, there's nothing really spectacular. I mean, they're Hoyas, they're all spectacular. Most of these are Carnosa. Actually, all of these are Carnosa. It's just which Carnosa they are. So let's get started. I like to use plastic cups for my propagation. I can create a nice little humidity chamber in there, and the plants root really, really well. Too well, honestly. I like using these because they're clear and you can see the roots in here. So let's grab this one because you can really see the roots in here. I'm so sorry I waited too long. So you can see the roots. They are climbing all over the place. This poor thing is like, let me out of here. These guys rooted in like 2 weeks. It's ridiculous. The rest of the cuttings are from my own plants. All right, so here we have Hoya Chelsea. Oh, honey, you are so in there. This guy's gonna have huge roots, I can tell. He didn't wanna come willingly. All right, there we go. So you can see this one rooted super well. I like going from soil to soil. This guy should have no trouble transitioning because he's not transitioning. If you do it in water and then you put it in soil, there's a transition period. He's already in soil, so he's gonna go straight to soil. So he should just continue to grow. I'm gonna just be using plain plastic nursery pots. Personally, pretty much only use plastic nursery pots and then put them in another pot. Not necessarily a cash po or whatever, but I just put them in another one so it's pretty because they have really good drainage, being nursery pots, more so than any ceramic pot. I do not recommend, nor do I like using terracotta for Hoyas. And the reason why is because they are epiphytes. And not only are they epiphytes, they also have little root hairs on their roots, and they're not actually little, they're really, really furry, fuzzy roots. Those roots are used in the wild to grasp onto things. And if you have a terracotta pot, it's gonna be gripping to the inside of that. So when you go to repot it, you're gonna be damaging roots when you're pulling it out. So what you would have to do instead of pulling it out in order to repot is you'd have to break the pot. Nobody wants to do that. So I like to use plastic nursery pots. This guy, oh, I just noticed he has new growth coming in right there. So that's kind of exciting. So I'm just gonna be sticking the Chelsea right into the pot at the depth that it was because it was already in a pot-like thing, being this. And I'm just gonna take it, put some soil in there. Not gonna be crazy messy. As you can see, my soil mix is super, super chunky. I like a nice chunky mix for all of them. It's better to be too chunky than not chunky. So there we go. Miss Chelsea is all potted up. All right, now we're gonna go through and just take a bunch of these out. You can see I'm squeezing the sides because these guys have been rooting in here for quite a while. And I don't want to damage any roots. Look at that. All right, this is why I love this method. This is all roots on this guy. How happy is this plant? I think that's like, I'm so excited. I just love it. And the reason why I like to use the cups as opposed to the plastic bag method is because this is a long cutting and it's able to stay upright in the cup. But look at those roots. Oh, so thrilled. Okay, it looks like we have some Carnosa Crimson Queen in here and also some regular Carnosa. Here's the Crimson Queen. Look at those amazing roots. Yeah, like you can't get these roots. Well, maybe you can in water propagation. Personally, I don't have the patience for it. Look at that. Those are healthy, happy Hoya roots. And then this is also a regular Carnosa. Again, big happy roots. And those are new leaves that have come up. That's a new leaf. And these are all new leaves. There's 4 new leaves. Another Carnosa Queen. Here comes in Princess. Let's do you. These are so handy because they already come with a top. It already has a hole in it. You can stick more in there if you want to, and it creates a really perfect humidity chamber. There's a lot in this one. Oh my, you're all like friends. So we have a queen and we have regular Carnosa. New growth, another regular Carnosas. I have to decide what I'm gonna do. If I'm going to pot them all together and just make one really full pot, or if I'm going to maybe do 2 pots. I might do 2. There's quite a few. There's more. Oh yeah, these guys over here. This is a Hoya Propagation that I literally just put in not long ago. This is a Carnosa, which is in here for a while, as you can tell by these crazy roots. And then, oh wow. Okay, I just put this in like a week and a half ago. I have to check my notes. It's only been a couple weeks, and this Hoya obovata has already rooted. Pretty awesome. I might even pot it up. I wasn't expecting it to be done. Kind of awesome. All right, well, I guess you're gonna get potted up too. Okay, who else? All right, here's a good example of why I do not like to use anything but plastic pots for Hoyas. These are Hoya Propagation cuttings that I took off of a plant that just started to die pretty much immediately when I brought it home. And I took cuttings so I could try re-rooting it. And you can see right here that the roots are starting to stick to the side. And I tried to get it off. And you see how it's really stuck on there? See, right there? If it were terracotta, even now, I'm a little bit worried about taking it off. So I don't want to damage the roots. See, look, I broke the root off right there. I probably should have wet it instead. This is why I don't like terracotta pots for Hoyas, because it's just gonna grasp a lot more since it's clay. But we can see I may have successfully saved this Curtisii, and we'll pot them up with some other Curtisii cuttings that I have. These are more Curtisii cuttings. And you can see, obviously, this is not a cup. This is just a grocery store Tupperware container. You just want to make sure your containers are clear, because you want it to be able to get some light in there, and you want it to breathe. I'm a little bit scared to transplant them because, like, this plant hates me as far as Hoyas go. But overall, we're gonna see what happens. Honestly, I don't remember what these guys are. Again, they're sticking to the side of the pot. This is what you don't want. This is why I shouldn't have waited too long. No idea who that is. I think one of these are Sunrise, one of these are Rebecca. Oh my goodness, and so many roots. Yikes, that's crazy. Oh my gosh. I don't even know how I'm gonna plant that one. This is either Rebecca or Sunrise. Pretty good. All right, so let's get these guys potted up. Can we not pee in there? Don't pee in the soil. Kitty break. Let's do the princesses. I'm probably going to just stick a bunch of them, just making a mess. Mess. This is why I like potting outside. I'm not propagating inside ever again. Well, I mean, I'm propagating inside, but I'm not potting inside. All right, so I'm gonna put that in there. So that princess is all potted up. I need more room. One lonely little Hoya obovata. He does have some new leaves coming in there. Let's do the queens. I'm gonna try and get them to look somewhat full in here. Ooh, that would be nice if we could stay like that. So I'm tapping the pot so it all gets into the crevices. Hoya Crimson Queen, all potted up. I want to talk really quickly about getting cuttings as opposed to getting a full plant. And it's a good idea to get cuttings because you get these cuttings, you start them on your terms, and it's just gonna grow better with what it's used to, if that makes sense. So if you're getting a plant, a full plant, and it's coming from Florida, and you're bringing it to Buffalo, the plant's gonna hate you for a while because it was in warm tropical Florida, and now it's in cold, not warm Buffalo, and it's gonna go through an adjustment period. Whereas you get a cuttings, it's probably gonna go through an adjustment period as well, but it's still going to be mostly used to what you're growing. But they also require patience, which is not one of my virtues. So I get a lot of full pots. And truthfully, I definitely have found that to be true. I recently got a Hoya caudata, and it was adjusted to Florida life, and then it came up here, and it's been losing some leaves. And that's okay, because it's not Florida in Buffalo. So I expect it to lose some leaves. I'm gonna try and take my own advice and be okay with cuttings. We'll see how that goes. Have I ever told you, and if you've watched my previous videos, then I have, if in fact I mentioned it in this video, how much I do not like potting inside because it's messy, so messy. That's all potted up. My God, he's really snoring. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to move all these potted guys into a clean container and water them, and then we're gonna put them back on the heat mat, and they're gonna stay in there until they show me a little bit more of growth, I would say, so they get used to their new home and their new medium, It's the same kind of medium that they were in before, but the roots have to reestablish themselves. And being on the heat mat is going to help that, and also being in a little bit more of a humid environment. I have some other things that are rooting that will be in there with them, but it should go pretty well.
Okay, now let's get these all watered. Generally, I do not water as soon as I finish potting, but since these guys have been in a pretty wet environment, they're little propagation chambers, then I think they are going to prefer being wet until they get established into these pots. So everyone is getting watered, and I wait until the water runs through to the bottom of the pot. I have mentioned before that I use rainwater until it freezes or until I can't use it anymore, and currently it is December 8th and I'm still able to use rainwater.
Okay, so they're back on their heat mat. There's a bunch of plants in there. This is a Monstera stanleyana I'm trying to propagate. I haven't had much luck with those, so we'll see how that goes. I turned the lights off so you can see. You know what's funny is that I wanted to get these all potted up because I thought I'd have more room and I'd have less plants, but somehow I have more plants. They're gonna stay in here. I like doing a slow transition. So they were in their cups, now they're still in soil, but they're in pot, and let them have a little bit more of an establishment. You don't want to do too much too quickly with them. You want to do a slower transition. So they'll probably be in here for another month or two is my guess. We'll see. They'll let me know when they're ready, and they'll let me know by putting out new growth and keeping it. Sometimes it gets new growth and it drops it, but they should be fine. I'll post an update. Go to my Instagram, Lake Effect Plant Lover. I'll keep you guys all updated on there as well, and I hope you enjoyed that propagation video.